Now, while we know that God has given you this responsibility of teaching children, there is a possibility that fathers may do that with a heavy hand. There's a possibility that fathers will abuse that and lord it over the children and frustrate them. It says here that we need to watch out so that we don't do that. We don't do that. Don't provoke your children to anger. And again, this subject is also found in Colossians chapter 3, verse 21. So, parents, fathers, while you have that responsibility, do not abuse it. Don't frustrate your children. Hello? I think we have fathers here. Is that audible enough? I hope it is. So don't frustrate your children. Don't provoke your children to anger. Now, in what ways can we do that? In what ways can fathers, well, I said we, but in what ways can fathers do that? I don't know if it's just me, but I've met some fathers who they're just not encouraging. They never encourage their children. You know, you have fathers who, if a child gets 5 A's, okay, 5 A's when he's writing an exam and he gets 5 A's, and then there's 1 B there, a grade B, and they're being shown the results, they'll ignore all the A's and go to the B and say, why did you get a B here? But I got 5 A's. We have fathers that are not intentional about encouraging their children. So, fathers, you have to encourage your children. It doesn't mean flattering them, of course, but it means that give a commendation when it's due. We have fathers that they don't do that. We have children who say, "Mudala kambako idelo." Is that my dad who said that? They even surprise the children. Obviously, Namvula is aloka. Maybe it will rain today. You know, they're surprised that, is that my father who said that? You know, when maybe they receive once in a chance of a trillion, I don't know. One out of 1 million chance, a chance for a father to say, "Oh, well done," for example. So when you do that, sometimes it frustrates children. It frustrates them. But then we have to be there, give a commendation when it's due, and be able to encourage them to where we want them to be. Sometimes parents don't exemplify. They don't exemplify what they are teaching. So they'll set this standard, but then they themselves, they don't follow it. You know, and with that, I was thinking about Joshua, the famous verse in the book of Joshua, which is Joshua 24, verse 15. And Joshua says, he's talking to the congregation of Israel there, but he says that, "As for me and my household, we will serve the Lord." Now, I was thinking about that and say, where did Joshua get the courage to say that? Where did he get the courage to say that on behalf of his family? Can you imagine one of his sons, or maybe if he had a daughter, saying, "Dad, don't include me in that"? You know, it's possible. Children can say that. Don't include me in that because it doesn't work with me, what you're saying. I don't see that working. I don't see that in your life. It doesn't work in your life. So when you're teaching children, make sure that you're showing that that thing is workable in your lives. Exemplify it. In other words, lead by example. Don't just tell children what to do, which are the things that you yourself, you're not doing. We have parents that set unrealistic standards for their children. But then they can't be there for their children to show that that is achievable. So children are imitators. That's what they are. So they'll see what you're doing, and if it works, it gives them confidence. If they see that it's working with you, that gives them confidence because they're imitators. And if we don't help the children to imitate, we are not helping them at all to grow in the things that we want them to grow in. No matter how much we shout that we want that to be done, but it's very difficult to achieve that because we are not exemplifying. We're not exemplifying that. There are also parents who practice favoritism. Maybe sometimes you have more than one child, right? And then you like the second born more than the third born, or you like the first born more than the fourth born, whatever the case may be. That can be frustrating to the children. That can be frustrating if children know that you don't appreciate them, or maybe even if they are not doing well, but all you do is scorn them and then heap the praises on this one child there. It could as well frustrate the other children. We read in Deuteronomy earlier on, it talks about how when you sit in your houses, when you're walking, when you're working, talk about these things of the Lord with your children. So the idea of spending intentional quality time teaching your children and conversing with them and talking with them and hearing from them, it means a lot. It helps them to grow in the way that the Lord will be pleased, the Lord will be honored. And of course, you want to use that time to teach your children the things that are important. And why does it matter that the children don't be frustrated? Because you can grow a bitter community if you're raising bitter children. That's the idea there. You will raise a bitter community if you're raising bitter children. Family is the fabric of society. So whatever the family is made up of will show in the society, will show in our communities that we live in. So it is very important that we don't embitter these children so that we see the benefit of that in our communities.